every one of us in our own lives, we have to develop what I call the spiritual anchor, the rock, the soul compass. And it has nothing to do with religion. When I say the spiritual anchor, it's spiritual anchor is when we know who we are in relationship to ourselves. We know who we are in relationship to the earth, to one another, to our past, to our future. We know how we're empowered and what our potential is. And once you know that, we then can live our truth.
If you can't focus, then you can't focus your energy. And if you can't focus your energy, nothing grows. And people's energy is going all over the place and nothing ever manifests in people's lives. And then they wonder why, the whole visualization, law of attraction thing doesn't work. Well, you can't bloody focus. That's why it doesn't work.
If you leave a lot of blanks in what you want, then all of a sudden it's like, well, it's random. Whatever fills in the blanks is you never said what you wanted. You can have an idea of what you want, and that's important. But the most important part of that, just having an idea, is not just have a broad idea. I want X. And I go, no. What exactly do you want? Why?
Where am I going? And to answer that question, you have to try and find out what you want. And so I went into that very thoroughly. What do I want to happen? And of course, as soon as you ask yourself that, you begin to fantasize. So I simply set myself to think through how far we could go. And so I soon found myself at a great push-button place where I had a fantastic mechanism with buttons available for every conceivable thing I could wish. So I spent quite a bit of time playing with it. You go going like that, and here is Cleopatra. And so on, and then press this button, a symphonic music. And when, you're like, everybody's dream is sort of in the palace, you suddenly notice there's a button labeled surprise. You push that. And here we are.
You are the creator of your reality, but you are a thinker of it into being, not a doer of it into being. There are plenty of action that you'll be inspired to, but that's not the way you create. You create through the conscious flowing of thought.
If you wanted to create a new personal reality, a new life, you'd have to change your personality, which means you'd have to start thinking about what you've been thinking about and change it. You'd have to become aware of your unconscious habits and behaviors, and even what you say, and modify them. And then you'd have to look at those emotions that keep you anchored to the past and decide if those emotions belong in your future. So most people try to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. We literally have to become someone else.
I mean, you're the one with the struggles and with the difficulties, and expecting somebody else to change or something outside of you to get better in order for you to make your life work at this level that I'm calling intention is something you have to really take a hard look at. It's in here.
The most important thing, I think, is to know your nature. What is your nature? What are your strengths and weaknesses and your likes and your dislikes? And once you know that, then you also think, what are the fits? Oh, I would like that job, and the job could pay me well. And then you figure out, okay, how do you do it? How do I get to it? Another part of it is the realization that you don't have to make your decisions in your own head. Okay, that when you start to realize that you know what you're good at and what you're bad at, that a power comes to you when you start to know, okay, who's the best person to give me the advice, or who's the best person to lead me through this, or when you start to know that you can go beyond what you think and your opinionatedness so that you can triangulate. I call it triangulate with others so that you find 3 people who are really capable of giving you good advice. Who will.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Happy to be here. Good. How are you?
Good. Today is going to be a good one. It's going to be a small, intimate group. I think there's only me, you, and one other person. Let's see if I can get my video going.
Good morning.
Good morning. Who are we on? Who else is on here with Trina and myself?
It's Ava.
Hey Ava, how are you?
Doing great, thank you.
Good.
Good morning, Ava.
How are you, dear?
I am good. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah,
Happy
it's
New
the
Year.
same to you.
We got two powerhouse ladies here. This is awesome, man. You got Jolie joining us right now. Good. It's gonna be for the ladies today.
And
And
nothing wrong with that.
yeah, for sure. It's MLK today, so I'm sure people have kids home and maybe they're taking the day off to do some other stuff. But that's cool. I mean, we'll have a small group today, and we'll go deep instead of having to, maybe go with a broad topic. We'll go something very personal. Maybe if you guys have some things you're working on, or problems you're having that maybe we can address as a small group and give some advice from where we've been before or what we've seen and experienced. So I think it's gonna be a real educational one for us today, including myself. So let me just start off by going with you, Trina. What's new with you? Just give us what happened this week. Anything, any good news? Anything happened last week?
Oh,
Or something?
goodness. So I wish I had some good news. I found out I've got another grandbaby coming. Grandbaby number 7 is going to be a
Wow.
boy.
I can't believe you're a grandmother. Like
It's so wild. I still
it
can't
is.
believe it. But this was the first time I went to an ultrasound
Mhm.
to see the gender. So that was cool.
Wow.
Spent some time with some of my grandkids over the weekend.
Awesome.
But personally, I've been just kind of dealing with some physical things. I mean, not like major, mostly like
Mhm.
like hormones and nutrition, and visited with a holistic practitioner on what I need to do to be at my optimal health. And
Yeah.
I'm excited about it because now I have basically a roadmap of what I need to do and what I need to not do. So
Mhm.
it was good for me to have that to first part of the year to really be mindful of my health and my overall well-being. Um, so yeah, it's all been just basically personal stuff I've been dealing with over the last week or so, but
Mhm.
I'm healthy and I'm happy and I'm here.
That's great. I really, really love that topic. The wellness space and health and
Hmm.
fitness and nutrition. Like if I wasn't in real estate, I'd probably be in that field, somehow, some way. It has changed my life. I let my body completely go off track for a time when I put work and business before my own
Hmm.
health.
And that's what I've done over the last couple years.
Yeah, and what's funny about that is that along with your health also goes your motivation and
Hmm.
your drive in your business also goes along with it. And I realized that one of the biggest blessings of 2008 when the housing market crashed is that I got myself back in shape because we didn't have that much business. And then it became more than just like an exercise routine. It became a lifestyle that got
Hmm.
ingrained to me, and I said I'll never go back because when I felt the effects of being healthy and fit and energetic, I said, why isn't everybody doing this? Like, this is such a hack. This is such a life hack
Hmm.
that if you just sacrifice a little temporary pain and discomfort, it will lead you to a life of abundance, and it really has. And I always, when I've mentored the agents, I've always said to them, look, guys, you can't expect your body to give you its all when you're not making that sacrifice early on and giving your body what it needs, the oxygen, the exercise, the nutrition. Like, you really have to focus on that because our car is like a high-end Ferrari. It's a perfect vehicle. But if we put sugar in the tank, what do you think is going to happen? Like, the thing's going to clunk out on you. So yeah, tell us more about that. What kind of health regimen are you getting into? What kind of nutrition changes are you making?
Well, a few years ago, I felt like I was at my optimal health, and I really surprised myself with just the people I was surrounded by.
Yeah.
I just started connecting with just high level people, and they were all really fit. And so that encouraged me to participate more in what they're doing and learn from them.
Mhm.
And I mean, I was killing it in my late 40s and really the best shape of my life at that time. But through female changes in life and stress and family members passing and all that, and even with this business, with this job, getting into a routine with when to eat and when to stand and when to walk, it's very easy to kind of slip into not good practices
Yeah.
and spending a lot of time in the car and pull over and get fast food when you're hungry in between showings.
Yeah.
But now I'm the heaviest I've ever been. I'm heavier than I was when I was pregnant. Of course, that was, almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, So just having concerns about watching my mother pass and her health and just seeing changes in my body and how I'm feeling. I visited with someone who is she's a holistic practitioner. Her and her husband run a business, and they try and do everything as naturally as possible, the way God designed us.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that. And so they did a few different kinds of blood work where we were able to actually look at what my genetics are predisposition to, and different things with like my HDL levels and my heart levels, and down to what types of cancer. If I stay on this trajectory, I'm basically welcoming into my
Yeah.
body. So we sat down and we talked about all the supplements that I need to be taking. And it wasn't like they were trying to push for me to buy things, but they were like, you're deficient in this with this specific vitamin. And also they were able to determine what things my body is lacking, like certain cellular structures, certain components that I do not have that a lot of people have, but some people don't. And because I lack those components, then my body can't do certain jobs because it doesn't have all that to work with. So we also, visited my heart health and uh, really encouraged, cutting out all processed foods, cutting out caffeine, cutting out sugar, cutting out alcohol, all the things we should not be consuming on a daily basis anyway. So it was really helpful for me to see like this is scientifically why I should not be consuming these items and how I can heal my body. And it also went over like the amount of minutes of like high intensity training I should do, how many minutes I should do of cardio, how many minutes I should be doing of weightlifting, per week. So that really helps me to, again, see it scientifically, to be
Yeah.
able to have structure and not just, oh, I need to go to the gym, or, oh, I'm on a diet, or, oh, I have to have salad. So it really helps me to see and know why I should do certain things.
Yeah, that's very interesting. That's amazing. I'm glad you brought that up. I think it's a really good topic for the beginning of the year for a lot of us. And I'll tell you, it's getting to your healthiest is not about a black and white overnight change. It's like the little gradual things, like taking the stairs instead of the elevator, or like right now I'm at a standing desk. Like one of the things that contributes to our health or declines the most is sitting for hours on end. And as real estate agents or as business people, a lot of times we find ourselves behind a computer. And I've seen that my flexibility and my health, the longer I sit, the worse it gets. But if you're able to somehow like work while you're pacing, making calls, walk around while you're making calls, go for a walk outside while you're making calls, or if you can get a standing desk, or even if you don't have it, can't get the budget for a standing desk, they sell one of these things that you could prop up your computer on your existing desk, so you could be standing up and have your computer at the height you need it. And some people have even gone as far as getting a small little treadmill that they put on a very low pace, and they put it at their desk, so they're walking on a treadmill while they're working. And it's a game changer. I don't know if you guys remember, some of the people on this call might have been at the office, but when we would make our prospecting calls, we would not make them sitting down. We would stand up and make those calls, because the more energy you create, the more energy you give off as well. So being sitting at a desk all day, imagine what that really does to your motivation. You got to get yourselves up and get some sunlight. And the sunlight's one of the most important things. If you're not getting enough of that, I think you should start with just that. But it really does make differences, guys. Like a lot of people think like, oh, I got to go hardcore to get in shape. It's really not. It's really just about the small changes you make to the sedimentary lifestyle that we are accustomed to that really make the biggest differences.
And
Right.
cognitively, just the way it makes your head feel so much better to be taking care of yourself. Because it's
Oh,
affected my business as well, because I start feeling depressed or overwhelmed or
yeah.
stressed and not able to process challenges like I used to. Of
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. I know we spent a lot of time
course.
on this topic with Trina, but I find it to be very interesting. But I want to be respectful of everyone else here. Anyone else want to share what they're up to? Let me ask Eva. Eva, what's going on with you, Eva? I know you shared with us a couple of weeks ago, and I think you left a great impression on anyone here. We just want to see if there's anything new you want to share with us.
Sure. Sorry, I got distracted. Brent just texted me from plane. He's
Oh
coming
yeah.
home from Indiana. Yes, so I was actually filling in for Brent just one day, showing some properties for him, and it was nice because I don't have really business right now.
Mhm.
So it was. It's always good to be involved. I got designated by. I was taking a courses for negotiator, and I really like that. There was like 75% off for this um, course, so I took advantage of it. Then I actually got certified as a express offer agent, so that was something nice too, to learn some different things, and the the chance to have another option how you can bring some seller to this project, if I can say so.
Yeah.
I was actually spending some time with my kids. We went to Fort Myers and Lakeland for tennis tournaments. My daughter actually won one of the tournaments, tennis
Wow.
tournaments, and
Congrats.
so it was really nice to be with them, and during this time. But yeah, I've been doing great. I've been really motivated. Somebody sent me this 40 day of fasting from the wrong thinking. It's not fasting of food, but more likely like that you focusing on things that are affecting us in the wrong way. And I definitely will share that link with you guys, because I encourage everyone to do that. It's just a really good thing to do, and it's easy. It's like a 7 to 10 minutes a message every day, and you just really focusing on not doing what the pastor says not to. So yeah, I've been doing good. I'm just praying and trying to get more business and get more involved in real estate. And yeah, overall I'm feeling very well, so thank you for asking. And yeah, I will continue that path and trying as well as Trina, to take care of myself and love
Mhm.
myself first before anything else. And um, feeling good. Thank you.
So Eva, let me ask you a question. I know that one of your goals is to do more business this year. Are you doing any other business right now besides just real estate?
Well, I've been, for 13 years a server, so I am working 4 days a week as a server, and
Okay.
it kind of, hard because it's physical. So when I go to work and I come home, I'm just exhausted. So
I'm tired, yeah.
many times. So that's why I try to exercise as well, go for walks when I have day off. And because I love exercising, I love to eat well, I love
Yeah.
to take care of myself. So yes.
That's
Um,
amazing.
so yeah, I have less time. And of course, when I take the kids to the tournaments, of course it's timing too. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to just take advantage of my job. I've been actually not printing. I ordered some calendars, and I was taking advantage of meeting people, and I was passing, letting them know I'm in the business. And also with my other friend that we used to work together, we actually went to a local school, and we made fresh coffee and cookies, and we were just, when people were dropping their kids the last day at school before the holidays, we were giving them fresh coffee, cookies, and offered our calendar. So
Nice.
that's another way how you can spread the news about your business. And I know we were talking last week with Sarah about doing something like the party, and I actually didn't have chance to speak, but I actually hosted a party like that. So I was looking for the material I could share with you. Since I'm not at home, I will definitely put a couple things together and share with everyone, so they can take a little knowledge from it, because I think it's a great opportunity. If I can say one more thing, I don't want to take more time, but also a good way how to promote your business is maybe doing like a car wash, to get to know somebody who owns a car wash, and just take that opportunity to, maybe they can sponsor you, and in the same way you can just put their name on the material that something about you. And there's so many other ways you can really get people to know that what you're doing and do something good for the community and stuff. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's awesome. All that stuff works. So you mentioned something that I think is very interesting. You said you try to network a lot with the people at the restaurant. Does your manager allow you to hand out your business card to the people you serve?
Unfortunately not. So
Yeah.
sometimes you know how it is. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than for permission. But yes, I mean, if I make like a good connection with somebody, well,
Mhm.
I've been there for 13 years, so a lot of people come to really to the restaurant to talk to me.
Mhm.
It's just, you know, I build that kind of trust and relationship. So all those people know I'm in business, but like,
Yeah.
let's say if I meet somebody new and I make the connection, they like what I do, my personality. I was like, by the way, I'm doing something else. So if it's okay, I will like to share something with you. So I find a way. I'm not supposed to do that, but
Mhm.
my bosses know me, you know, my managers know me. And if it's not like, I know that I tried it once and somebody actually complained
Mhm.
on me. So I have to be careful how I approach it. But
Mhm.
you know, and another way, as I think you are the one who told also Brand to pass the cards, and you know, anywhere you are, just share what you do, ask for contact. So
Yeah.
I've been doing it as well, you know. So yeah.
That's good. That's very good. I mean, listen, there's nothing wrong with building the relationship first, because when you start from a place of just business, a lot of people see that as a very cold way to build trust with someone, or build rapport. But when you come from a place of service and help and compassion and care, I think that goes a lot further, because then people start to ask you questions, right? And maybe they're visiting in town because they're thinking about moving to that area, and they start sharing that information with you. You could easily, talk to them about, your website. You need to have a website that's easy to remember, like Eva Sells Florida, something like that, or Eva, your realtor or something like that. That way they can, you don't have to give them a card. You can say, guys, if you're looking for a house, check out my website, Eva Sells Real Estate, or Eva Sells Florida, and then that way they're, that's cool. I'll look at it right now on my phone. They'll go to your phone, they'll sign up to your website, and then they'll start to get alerts from you automatically. So I think if I was in your position and I met that many people, number one would be building the connection, asking them where they're from, what they're in town for, what their plans are. And if you catch enough people who like, oh my God, we love this area, we're visiting from Montana or wherever, Florida is one of those states that a lot of people tend to come here on vacation and fall in love with it, end up moving here. So I think that would be a good way. And I'm not sure if you have that already.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm working on it. Sometimes we get very busy, but
Mhm.
when I have the opportunity to make a conversation, I'm so comfortable in my job. You know, I guess more than anywhere else,
Mhm.
because I think I do my job well, and so I'm comfortable where I am. So it's easy for me to talk. It's different when we speak about real
Yeah,
estate,
yeah.
because you know I always were thinking I don't speak well or I don't have the knowledge about real estate, but
Mhm.
I'm growing. So yeah,
Mhm.
thank you for the tips. Absolutely,
Yeah.
thank you.
Because you have a great website already. You're given a website from EXP Realty that's awesome. It's probably the only thing you need to get people interested in buying in the area. Only thing you need to do is purchase a very cheap domain name from GoDaddy. I'm not sure if you guys know how to do that. You can get it from Google Domains too, wherever you want to get it. Very simple domain, and you can link that domain to your existing website. You don't got to go out there and spend thousands of dollars for another website. It'll cost you $12 for the entire year.
Right.
And then you can, instead of giving business cards out and getting in trouble, you can just tell people the name of your website. So that'll be a good way for you to maybe get that information out without getting yourself in hot water. All right. So moving along, Belinda, how you doing, sweetheart? Everything good?
Everything is great. Before I move on to me, I just want to say to Eva, what has worked for me and still working for me, believe it or not, if you have your business card, wherever you go, especially with the kids, if they have bulletin boards, community bulletin boards, please don't think that that's too cheesy. I have had numerous business cards taken for people that are just looking at the area bulletin boards, just to ask general questions.
Mhm.
And you want to be your town's go-to person. So don't be afraid to stick your stuff up there too, or even make a flyer
Yeah.
with those little tickets that, you tear a ticket with your number or your website on it. you can do those things too. It doesn't.
Thank you, Belinda. Yeah, I definitely take your advice, and thank you for speaking on me with me the other day. I just want to say thank you again. It's great to make these kind of connections. So, yeah, I'm trying. Thank you.
Mhm.
You're welcome. Um, now back to me. Everything's is great. I have 55 people signed up for my home sellers seminar.
That's amazing.
That to me, that was, I want to say that was crazy, but at the beginning of the year, I told you, acquaint thyself with him and
Mhm.
he will give you peace.
Yeah. How did you promote it on social media? Is that what you did?
Facebook marketplace.
Okay.
The
Wonderful.
yeah, the what do you call that? Every time I get on here, I get tongue tied.
No, you're good.
The sale pages. What do you call it? Yard sale. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Local
on
yard sale.
about 25 yard sale groups in my county.
And you posted your link in there?
And I just did it. I just wanted to be local. I just wanted to do local stuff right now. I want to become my area expert.
That's amazing. That's good. I'm very, very happy for you. You know what I love about that is that by you taking the time to conduct these experiments and thinking outside the box, you make a lot of people here on the call just kind of like question, like, wait, what could I be doing differently? You know, maybe I can apply that in my marketplace. Or, you know, the whole thing with the sending people oddball greeting cards, like I think that's just genius. You know, it's a slower, smaller approach, but it's deeper. You know, like people are sometimes they so infatuated in going wide and going only shallow depth with people, and people don't react to it. But when you go narrow and you go really deep, you know, it's less people you're hitting, but the people who you are hitting are maybe more targeted, and they see that you took the time to do something just a little different than everybody else, right? So we'd love to hear any feedback from the stuff that you're sending out too on those postcards as it happens. Like if you get like something like that, just share with us too, because we want to hear those wins.
Definitely, definitely. And you know, I'm coaching basketball, so practice days, you know, I'm full in EXP gear.
Yeah. That's
And
awesome.
the kids says, "What's EXP?" So with the kids asking, of course they ask, well, their parents are next to them, and I get to tell them.
Mm-hmm.
And the parents go, "Oh, you're in real estate?" Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, your number one coach is in real estate. Here's my card. Look me up. Outside of this, we can do whatever you want to do. So,
Wow.
and I'm even giving the kids a play date. Do you think that in my goodie bags, I will not have EXP cards? You better not. My EXP stuff will be in my goodie bags going out to the kids with a special gift to the parents.
Yeah, good for you. That's amazing. That's awesome. Let me ask anyone else in the group. Anyone here involved in like athletics or in groups? Like, do you guys join any? I don't know. Maybe like I used to belong to a Toastmasters club. Or do you guys belong to any like social clubs or anything like that that you can promote yourselves? And how have you guys done it without feeling like people think you're there just for that? Anyone? Okay. Well, I'll share with you guys really quickly from experience that joining as many groups as possible and legitimately like being there because you enjoy the group or what you're there to learn is one of the best ways to cement yourselves in the community and expand your network. Because you know a lot of people think that you know a lot of these things will take up your time away from business. But and I used to think like that. I used to think like, oh, you know, getting out of the office and going to do these social events, like that's a waste of time. And it is a waste of time if you're going to go there and not really have an open mind and there to network with people. But I found that the more networking I've done once I've gotten out of kind of like that mindset, that broken mindset I had, the better my business did, and the more I was able to just grow opportunities. Because remember, opportunity sometimes comes in different shapes and different forms, and they don't always reveal themselves for face value immediately. But you just like, for instance, I used to play soccer with a bunch of guys, and you know, when you play soccer, these guys aren't out there talking about, hey man, so how's your 401k doing, or you know, buying any good houses lately? Like, you know, that those conversations don't come around. But what happens is that sooner or later you build these bonds and they kind of start to realize, hey, what do you do, man? Oh, I'm in real estate. Oh, you are? Okay, cool. And then maybe like 6 months down the line, they're like, hey, man, I want to talk to you about buying a house, you know? And that's happened to me. Like it comes from just anywhere and everywhere. And I'll be honest with you guys, like the more of that you can do. And if it's already built in, because some of us don't even realize it's already built in. Like we have kids, okay, we go to the sports events, or we go to the meetups or whatever for our kids, or maybe we do it for ourselves. Like make sure people know, like where like Belinda's saying, like we're in the gear, or having the conversations, or asking, being genuinely interested in what other people do is the best way for them to be interested in what you do. But if you just go there and you just constantly talking to people about like, oh, I just had such a rough day today at the office. Oh my God, you'd never believe how real estate, like, that's not really interesting to people. What's interesting to people is the fact that you're interested in them. So the more you can get someone to open up and tell you about what they do and how they've gotten to where they are, or, the more interested they're going to be in what you do as well. Because once someone feels like, oh, wow, I just unloaded a whole bunch of information on you, the least I could do is ask you what you do. And then you kind of go nonchalant about it, kind of like, hey, I'm in real estate, and I really have a passion for it. Been doing it for 20 years. And it's not easy, man, but it's very rewarding. So, that's about it. And then you leave some mystery, because when you give it all up, people are going to be like, oh, okay, well, thanks. Like, or maybe some people just don't care. Right. So you never want to try to force feed someone who's not ready to listen to what you've got to say. But as you drop hints, people will be interested. I've had so many people like try to prowl out of me more information about real estate. Like I remember same time frame when I was playing soccer, a lot of the younger kids were interested in, hey man, if I got into real estate instead of going to college, like, do you think I can make money? Like you breed this interest in people because they start to ask the questions themselves, instead of you having to approach them. Some people may not have any interest at all, and you just there just to have a good time with them. But then sooner or later, some people are like, oh, wait, I know a person. I play soccer with them, or I'm part of the PTA with them, or whatever, in a book club, anything. So I would say this much. If all of your week is surrounded around just doing business and being in the office, and you don't have at least like one outlet, maybe once a week or every 2 weeks that you go to, I think Sarah, I'm going to ask her about it, but I think Sarah is big in her community. I think she goes to a local church, and she's a part of the community. I think, that's a really big outlet as well. But anything that you can think of that you're passionate about, because you don't want to go there just because you're looking for business. You also want to have an interest in it outside of real estate. It's very helpful. I know it's helped me a lot. I don't know about you guys, but it's something that I want to do more of this year. I want to double down on that. So moving along, I want to ask Sarah. Sarah, what's new with you, sweetheart? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Hey guys.
Hey, Sarah.
Well, I don't know if this is not a real estate story, but can I share it?
Please share. I don't think
Okay.
Trina's was either, but it was, I think, helpful for everyone.
Okay. So Saturday I was working in Somerset.
Mhm.
And then on my way back, I went to North Brunswick because it's the closest town to Milltown, to the GNC to get my cardio workout energy drink.
Yeah.
And they're shut down.
Mm.
I was so pissed.
Yeah.
So the closest one was on Route 1, still North Brunswick, but I was just too tired. I didn't want to go, but I had to go. So I went, I got my energy drink, and when I was coming out of the parking lot, an old lady waved me to stop. I didn't know if she was saying hello or she was just waving me. I drove and then I stopped. So she came and she drove right next to me and she was crying. And I was like, "Are you okay?" And she said she's lost. Her navigation shut down, the car navigation.
Mhm.
So she was trying to get to Longhorn. And I was like, oh my God, I couldn't remember where was Longhorn. I knew it was on the same side of the highway, but I wasn't sure if it was like more up or down. So I put it in my navigation and it wasn't that far. So I said it, so she looked desperate, her and her old husband next to her. So I said to her, you know what, let's figure it out together. Just follow me. So I just took her.
Mhm.
It was like maybe 7-minute drive.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It was 5:30 at night. So I guess maybe she got nervous.
Yeah,
So
of course.
anyways, so I took her, and then when I took her to the door of Longhorn, I can see like she was behind me. She came out of the car. So I just came out of the car too. She gave me a big hug and
Yeah.
she asked for my number.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I gave her my number. And then at 9:30 at night, she called me just to tell me that I did a good deed she thanked me, and she told me that she's in the chocolate business.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is where the good story starts, because
Mm.
I have addiction. So she told me she's in the chocolate business and she has 800 molds, and she's gonna make me a tray. And I said, no, no, you don't have to make me anything. She's like, no, I'm gonna make you a tray. So I said, okay. So the next morning, I wake up to a text message, this huge tray, and it says, "Thank you, Sarah," with the chocolate
Mm-hmm.
on it. And I was like, oh my God, you just got yourself a long-term client, because I'm gonna start ordering from you
Mm-hmm.
for my closings.
Yeah.
She said to me, I'm not gonna deliver this. I want you to come to my house.
Oh, wow.
I swear, yeah. So
What an
today
amazing story.
I'm going to her house today at 4.
Uh-huh.
She wants to show me her house
That's awesome. Get some video of the,
of the chocolate.
of the house, the chocolate, everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Oh, thank you. I'm just happy I got some chocolate.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have it.
That's awesome. That sounds like something Alejandro would do. Alejandro, what do you think about that story, buddy?
Great story. I mean, I noticed when you in the place of giving, you actually end up getting
Mm-hmm.
on. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was this year I started doing Uber. 4 years without doing it, and it's helped me to connect with people. I got like to buy leads. Like I'll be talking to people and tell them that I'm in real estate, this and that. Things have definitely slowed down. Like I'm not doing any rehabs or anything like that. So I got a lot of time. I wake up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So after 5, I do maybe 2 or 3 hours of Uber and talk to people and give them, tell them that I do real estate, this and that. So far, I got 2 leads. Usually at that time, it's people that's going to work, so they most likely going to be qualified to buy a house.
Yeah, of course. That's awesome, man. And what else is going on with you, Alejandro? Any stuff that you're working on? Any big stuff? I know you always got something creative up your sleeve.
Well, we have a partner, one of my team members. We get a lot of leads and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that's what we're trying to like focus on. Like the lead
Yeah.
source right now is the name of the game. Really, that's the source of every
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah, so Alejandro, he contacted me last week with 3 leads in Jacksonville, Florida, and one of them might turn out to be a deal. The lady is selling her house for a relatively good price, so I believe she has like 3 offers on the table right now, and we made one on her property as well. So let's see if she ends up going with us. But it just goes to show you that there are people out there who are still looking to sell their house, and if you could be the one that they speak to before anyone else, you can still get a good deal or lock in a good listing. So I don't know how many calls Alejandro and his agent made, but they got 3 hot leads. 3 hot leads is no joke. I mean, like, he probably had to call like 200-300 people. Am I probably accurate in saying that, Alejandro? Probably more than that.
Well, yeah, because we get a like text message call, and we actually have a VA doing all that. They just like what we send you is what the virtual assistant sent us already. Like he was already trained, and
Yeah.
it's already like identify cold lead, warm lead, hot lead, like and the whole description, like the way you saw it, like the
Yeah.
APR. So the guy is experienced. So, but yeah,
Have
no,
you
you
guys
have
been
to make.
tracking?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just asking, have you guys been tracking her production as far as like how many calls she has to make before you get a warm or hot lead?
I haven't really like tracked it, but my team member probably is. He's kind of new,
Mhm.
but the guy is great, man. Like he's out there. He's hustling. Like he's hustling.
That's what you need. I mean, when you're going to invest your time in someone and mentoring someone, they got to have the kind of attributes where they're hungry. Like I will tell you right now, the best agents that I've ever worked with have been the agents who have taken my advice, but on top of taking my advice on what to do, they do additional things on top of that. There's been agents who have said, I did everything you said, but then afterwards I went and knocked on 5 doors before I went home. I'm like, I never told you to do that, but they did that on their own. Like there's just like, I didn't have to tell Alejandro, hey, make calls in the morning, but then do them again in the afternoon. And then that's exactly what he would do. He felt like people were coming home from work at 5. So he's like, let me call at 5 to 7. So, it goes to show you that putting a little bit more effort or putting your own spin on something and just trying it out, for a long enough time, it really will make the difference. And, like if you made phone calls, like I remember this very clearly. One night when I first opened one of my first real estate companies, the first real estate company I opened with my partner, we had this crazy idea. You guys may have heard this story before. We had this crazy idea. We were going to do what's called a phone blitz. A phone blitz means everyone gets together and we just start making calls. No idea what we were doing. Never consulted with anyone, never got an advisor to tell us what to do. We just heard that this other real estate company did it. So we got together, all of us got together and made calls, never had a script, never knew what to say, nothing. And we didn't have any phone numbers. All we did was just, we went through the whitepages.com or whatever it was, something like that. Whitepages.com at that time. It was like 2000 and what year was that? 2015, something like that. So we went through white pages and we just started making calls on white pages, and we got zero. We got people cursing us out, telling us never call again. We had no idea what we were doing. And that's enough for someone to be like, you know what, I give up. This is not working. I don't know what the heck those other people were doing, but this doesn't work. But it's when you get into the details, when you get into the things that people don't see and intricacies that make all the difference in the world. So Alejandro and his agent, I'm sure they're not just calling random people. They're probably calling a targeted list of people. And on top of that, they've invested in their strategy by getting a virtual assistant. Why is a virtual assistant important? I'll tell you right now, for a bunch of reasons. Number one, because it allows you to have leverage. Okay. So it allows you to be able to make more calls while you focus on maybe getting more leads or work the leads or whatever the system might look like. But you're getting someone who doesn't have anything else to do throughout those hours. Meanwhile, you might be busy with other things as well. So someone who's maybe willing to work for $4 an hour overseas is a good way to leverage your business when it comes to prospecting. And then they have a system where when the lead comes in warm or hot, they get alerted, and then they follow up with just the warm and hot ones instead of having to sit there for hours on end, which could lead to burnout if you don't have a good strategy or maybe a good partnership with someone. And I always recommend that if you're going to make calls, like don't make calls for 8 hours a day because you'll go nuts. Make calls for 1 to 2 hours a day, and that's enough to start your day with. Have a way of making sure that that's on your calendar as much as possible. And then on top of that, you got to have what's more important than anything else is have a follow-up strategy. Because if you don't have a follow-up strategy, then you might as well not make the calls at all, because the sales usually never get made on the first go around. And I'm sure Alejandro and his agent have also realized that. So I'm sure they have a thorough follow-up system. They have everything that you could think of. But I'll be honest with you guys, when things get a little bit difficult or things start to not be as easy as they used to be, you have to find ways to maybe adapt, right? And I don't know the answer to Alejandro's situation, but it seems to me like they might have found a good market in which it's working in. It seems like they got a bunch of good leads in the Jacksonville area. I'll be honest with you, I've tried to make calls and do some prospecting down here in Southwest Florida, and the results have not been great. I mean, compared to what the results we get in New Jersey, it's like night and day. So it depends a lot on your market and the strategy that you're utilizing. So for instance, like if I wanted to go after a high foreclosure demographic, the first thing I should probably do is start with the data. Like if you look up the data, the number one state in the country for foreclosures is Illinois. So if I want to go after foreclosures, why not go into Illinois? They have the most per capita foreclosures. So for every, let's say 100 homes, they have like, I don't know, I think it's something like a good percentage of those, maybe like 5 to 7% of those homes are in foreclosure. So that's a pretty big number compared to, like, let's say in Florida, where there's probably not that many foreclosures, in Southwest Florida especially, going on. But in other cities that are more densely populated, you have a better opportunity. So you have to look at those things. So if it's not working for some reason, you have to find out, okay, what's broken here in this equation? Is it my approach? Is it my follow-up? Is it the demographic I'm contacting? What is it that's not working here? And everything works as long as you have all the pieces in the right order, right? It's like a puzzle. Yeah. So what else, Alejandro, have you been learning from the strategy?
Well, basically be consistent. Everything is just consistency. That's what I need to like focus on myself. I usually start like good starter, but not really follow
Yeah.
up on like calls or whatever. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to focus on this year. Like just be consistent on whatever I do. Just follow and doing every day. Like it sounds really boring, but that's the only way. It's not gonna be boring when you look at your bank account.
I love that. Yeah, it's not boring when you look at your bank account, that's for sure. You know what makes something that's boring not boring, Alejandro?
Uh,
Huh?
what do you say?
You know one of the strategies of taking something that's boring and making it not boring? What would be the best strategy to do that?
Well, think about the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, think about the outcome as one, but doing it with the right person. You don't have to do it alone. For me, when I first started prospecting, I did it alone and I found a lot of success in it. And I said, you know what? There's someone that's in my circle who's very much like your agent, Alejandro, who was very hungry and willing to do anything, willing to put in the work. And I did it with that person. And we had the best time, man, for an entire year. We just had a ball, man. We laughed. We had great moments. People were asking him like, "Oh, what are you doing? You're getting so much business." Like, it was just a great to see, but it wouldn't have been possible to do it that consistent and long term if you didn't have the right accountability partner. So if you get anything out of this, guys, is that you don't have to do it alone, and don't think of it as you're losing something, because people think, oh, if I do it with someone else, then maybe I lose out on the entire commission, or maybe I lose out on whatever, anything, or maybe I've given up secrets. It's not, I think that's coming from a place of scarcity, when there is an unlimited amount of business out there for people to get, and there's an unlimited amount of money out there, and now more than ever. So if you can find someone to keep you on track, that in itself is priceless. So find the right person and double down. That's all I can say. That really works. Good. Awesome. All right. So let me move along. I think Yanette's on the call with us, right? Yanette, are you on here? Yeah, you are.
Hi, good morning.
How are you, sweetie?
I am good, can't
Good, good.
complain.
How's your prospecting going? I know you said to us that you were making calls, I think it was a week or two ago. How's that been
Yeah,
working out for you?
I left a lot of messages, and then I united with another agent for the Vortex. It's Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
And I started making calls, and on my way home, the first day, I got one listing appointment, but it wasn't more like a listing. They were just like, oh, we're not trying to, bring me the buyer, whatever. But yeah, well, at least give me a chance to drop by and see the property and everything. So I got a yes. And then on my way home, I got a call back from a client that his son picked up the voicemail I left. He asked me if I spoke Spanish. So I was like, oh, claro que sí, of course. And then connected me with his dad. And I have to follow up on them because the owner of the house they're selling, there are 3. So everybody has to agree on selling.
Okay, good. Well, look at that. I mean, that's
Not discouraged.
Huh?
I am definitely not discouraged. This is gonna be
good.
my
Absolutely.
Yes. And I'm
Yeah.
working on other stuff that I want to wait until everything falls into place before actually speaking about it.
That's
But I got
amazing.
good plans coming.
That's amazing. That's awesome. I'm getting your first yes, or getting your first listing from doing the most uncomfortable thing that most people could think of is one of the best feelings. It's so rewarding. I don't know if all of you on this call have ever attempted to do straight up cold calling people you've never talked to before in your life. I found it to be very scary at first. Like I found it to be scary, but I did it because I saw that the most productive top producing agents in the entire country were doing prospecting. I said, if I don't get myself conditioned to do this, then I'll never be like those people, right? That's what I said to myself. So I went and I shook the butterflies off. I had my moments where I was scared, but I got over it. And after I got my first yes, it was over. Like you couldn't tell me anything else. So for Yanette, if you're getting to that point right now where you're like, oh my God, there is some real merit to all this, it really does work. Double down on that momentum that you're getting, on that high that you feel, and just make sure that like, okay, I'm clearing my schedule for the next month. Every day for 2 hours, I'm making these calls. And because what happens then is that after you start doubling down and see that there's really some money to be made here, your energy shifts and it changes, and then you get more, and then you get more, and it becomes addictive in a good way. And you start to see that, it doesn't have to be that complicated. You don't have to work as hard to make more money. You just got to work more efficiently. So you will experience that too. I encourage everyone here that if you
Yeah.
haven't tried that, just please. I know it's scary. I mean, I've sat with agents who have literally hands shaking, like couldn't even get a word out. Like it's
All they can,
scary.
to me, all they can say is no. And
Good.
that's it. And
Yeah.
my point is, I used to work in a call center for a clinic,
Mm-hmm.
for an office. So I'm
Yeah.
used to being on the phone, and I did a lot of secretarial work as well.
Yeah.
And that's not a problem, me speaking to anybody on the phone. I just have to, let's see, I guess I just have to, the Fizbo's role play that I have,
Yeah.
I like to add it to my personality,
Mm-hmm.
so I could come out more natural about it.
Yeah.
And I just feel that I'm happy. I'm encouraged.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah, Fizbos are a different breed. Fizbos, you gotta,
Definitely.
yeah, you gotta be ready for
All
it,
of it.
all of it. Yeah, I mean, it's all of it, but it's also so repetitive as well, because what you're gonna hear from a lot of Fizbos is that bring me a buyer. Like, what is your rebuttal to bring me a buyer? Because they want to sell. There's no doubt about that. They want to have their house on the market for sale. But when they say bring me a buyer, okay, what are you gonna say? When they say what is your commission? What are you gonna say? When they say, yeah, you can come to the open house and have it on Sunday if you want to see the house, what are you gonna say? You can see, you want pictures, you can see them online. Like all of these
Right.
things are so predictable of what they're gonna say. But like Yannette just said, like, oh, I gotta practice my role play when it comes for sale by owners, because it's all about your confidence in what you say, in your tonality, more
Right.
than what you actually say. Because there's people that could say the craziest things and get away with it. Like,
Yes. Yes.
because of the way they say it. It's so nuts. So,
Right.
what do you say to some of these rebuttals? What do you say when someone says to you, bring me a buyer? Like, what is your next words when someone says that?
You're putting me on the spot right now.
Well, I mean, it's better now than on the call, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, when they tell me bring me a buyer, my first response is, so like it says on the script, so you're trying to save yourself the commission. Oh yes, I do. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great, and I understand. However, there is a lot of exposure that needs to be done, and I can offer you that. Your property is not going to be marketed everywhere, and not everybody can see it. So your lack of exposure. At least let me drop by, take a look at the house. Maybe if you allow me to take some pictures, I can come back with a professional CMA for you and find out where, if your numbers are in the correct, because I see that your property's been on the market for 139 days. And I think that's a very long time. And I guess you're missing the wave of selling it as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
If you can better that, please tell me, Louis.
Got it. What I would try to do is just ask more questions. So if I said to you, like, so say it back to me, Louis, bring me a buyer, right? So you're the seller, and I'm the agent, right? So, hey, so it looks like you have your house on the market for sale. Can I ask how much you're asking?
What happened?
Let's just role play real quick. I'll be the agent. Yeah. So, hi, Yannette. I see your house is for sale. My name is Louis. I'm a real estate agent with EXP. Just wanted to know how much are you asking?
560.
560. Okay, no problem. Have you considered working with an agent, or do you have someone you've been in talks with?
I have, but no, I think I can do it myself. I want to save up that commission.
Got it. So are you open to working with agents?
I'm sorry?
Are you open to working with agents?
Nah, not at this moment. I think I can sell the house myself.
Oh, okay. No worries. I mean, have you done an open house? Has anyone been by that place yet?
No, not yet, but I think I can do it myself. This is what I get for real, Louis.
Oh, sure. No, of course. And listen, I'm sure you're very capable of selling the home yourself. How many homes have you sold in the past?
Me?
Yeah. How many homes have you sold in the past? Is this the first time selling a property?
No, of course not.
No, I'm not asking you personally.
Are we
Like, as
role
an agent.
playing?
Yeah, we're role playing. Yeah. So I'm
Oh my
asking
God.
you as the seller. You're the seller of the home. Okay, Mrs. Seller.
I've sold many properties in your area. I work
Oh,
with buyers and lenders. I mean, buyers and sellers in your area.
no,
This
no,
is
no,
the
no, no.
reason why-
No. Are you the seller? Because I'm the agent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, okay, Mrs. Seller, Yannette, the seller of this house.
So are you a seller? How many properties have you sold so far?
Yeah, well, let me ask you that, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So how many, is this your first time selling a home, or have you sold a lot of homes in the past?
No, it's my first time.
Okay, okay. Well, listen, if I was in your situation and selling a home for the very first time, I would at least want to know a couple of the things that you should probably be aware of in this market. Do you know exactly how much it would cost to finance your house if somebody put down 20% today?
No, not really.
Okay. Do you know where the majority of the buyers are coming from in your area right now? Are you marketing in that area?
I'm not sure. I just posted it on Zillow.
Okay. Well, listen, there's a lot of things that I could share with you. Obviously, there's no obligation. Can I just give you a cheat sheet of things that we offer for sale by owners that'll make you more aware of what the local market is offering you and how you could benefit from it? Is that something you'd be open to reviewing?
Sure, I can't do like that. I appreciate that.
Oh, no worries, no worries. My pleasure, because I know this. It's not easy to sell a home if you're on your own as a seller, because you just don't know who's walking into your house nowadays. It could be someone who's qualified, and it could be someone who's just looking to, see what you have inside, and come in, case the place for a later date. So be very careful who you let in your home. Number one, make sure they're pre-qualified. That's one thing I'll tell you, just from
Safety.
perspective of safety. But the other thing I want you to know is that most sellers that are trying to attempt to sell their home on their own, you're gonna put yourself at a disadvantage, and that's not something that I'm telling you from my experience. That's a national study that's been done where it shows that a homeowner will actually end up selling their home for 11% less than they would with a real estate agent. And the reason why that is because lack of exposure. I mean, we're going to be putting your home on the market. It's going to go on over 100 websites, where if you're going to be selling your home, you're probably going to be putting it on Zillow, maybe for salebyowner.com. Am I correct in saying that? Is that where you're marketing your home?
Correct.
Okay. Have you thought about marketing in, like, let's say other websites that maybe cater to the demographic of the major cities that are coming around? Have you considered putting your home, and you're in New Jersey, is that correct? You're in Central Jersey or North Central Jersey?
Central Jersey.
Yeah. Have you considered putting your home on the MLS for Hudson County? Because a lot of the agents in Hudson County, they don't have access to the MLS that you're located in. So even if you were to pay for someone to just list your home on the MLS locally, and then you do the for sale by owner yourself, you still wouldn't get maximum exposure. Is that something you've considered? Is just having it everywhere so you can get more people to see your home?
Definitely. That sounds like a good point.
Okay. Well, listen, if
Oh.
that's something that you're interested in doing, I can show you how we work. I understand you want to, sell your home on your own, but we work a little differently than everyone else. You're going to get a lot of calls from agents that are going to tell you, that they could host an open house for you, or we'll bring you a buyer and those types of things. But to be honest with you, the best way to work with a real estate agent is when our interests are aligned, which means that we don't make a dime. We're going to spend money on marketing your home and making sure it's presented well. It has professional photography, drone footage, Matterport scans, all of these things in order to be able to maximize the exposure of your home. And we don't charge you a single penny unless we get you the results that you're looking for. So if you're looking for 400,000 for your home, I think that's what you said you're looking for. If we get you $400,000 for your home, and we put it everywhere on the market, then you left no stone unturned. But if you get 400,000 for your house right now, how do you know you couldn't have gotten 410 or maybe more, because you've only tried in a very small demographic, a small area? I think if I was in your position, I'd want to make sure that I don't think about how much I'm saving by not using an agent, but how much I'm losing by not marketing it everywhere possible. Is that something that makes sense to you?
That does make sense. You got a point.
Good. All right. So, I mean, more along the lines of creating a conversation, asking questions, trying to have them discredit themselves. Because when I ask you how many homes have you sold in the past, most people have never sold a home in the past, or even if they sold one or two, like, you quickly switch it to, okay, that was that market. This is this market. You can even ask them, where did you sell that house? Well, that house was sold in Mississippi, this home is in New Jersey, or vice versa, or wherever. You want to find ways to be able to discredit without saying you have no idea what you're talking about, but they can discredit themselves by answering your questions, because when you ask something, they question themselves when they respond to it, because it's better that they discredit themselves than you discredit them. Make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. And then they can kind of understand that you're not begging for the business, because if you come across and start begging and saying, well, I can bring you a buyer, or I can host a free open house for you. It sounds like you're desperate. You don't want to come across as desperate, because where do desperate people, how do you envision desperate people? You're like, what, I don't want to work with someone desperate. I don't want to date someone desperate. I don't want desperate around me. Like, I want someone who's high quality. So when you come across and you say, well, I work differently, and this is the way that I work with my clients to get them the top dollar, the best results for their home. Instead of saying something like, please let me host an open house for you, or do something for nothing, when you don't value yourself, you want to come across as a person who has authority in that area. And by telling them that you work differently, and this is how I work with my clients, it shows that, look, you have the confidence in what you're doing and saying. And if they still say, look, no, I'm not looking to work with an agent, and that's totally fine. I get it. And most people are not ready to work with an agent initially. But I will tell you this much, that there may come a time when your home is on for sale by owner.com for 2 weeks, for a month. At what point would you be willing to sit down with one of the top teams in the area to see how much we can get for your home and what that process looks like? How long has your house have to be listed for you to be able to maybe get some guidance from someone like us? Answer that question.
Wow, about
Right?
a month, maybe
Yeah,
2 months.
about a month. Okay, so do I have your permission to call you in about 3 weeks and see if we could schedule something if your home is not sold by then?
Definitely, of
Okay,
course.
good. See, so now you're not coming across as being like needy or desperate. You're asking them for permission. You're asking them, how much pain are you willing to put up with before I can actually call you and say, let's get down to business. Let's stop playing games and let's get your home sold.
Right. It's more like superficially let them have control, but in the end, I have control of the conversation.
Exactly. You're giving them all the control, but you're getting the answers you want. How crazy is that? It's all psychology. So at the end of the day, it's like,
Psychology.
exactly. That's all it is, guys. And you know what? You don't get this from making 5 phone calls. Yanette's gonna make thousands of phone calls, and then she's gonna be like, "Man, I can run circles around these for sale by owners. Give me a for sale by owner. Like, I'll put $100 on a for sale by owner right now." So yeah, guys, it just comes with experience and time and comfort. Comfort's the most important thing, because like, you can't pick up the phone and on your first try nail it out the park. I mean, it's very unlikely unless you're just a different breed of human. It comes with just practice and practice, and you get better at it as time goes by. So, Yanette, very proud of you. Could continue the good work, and I'm sure that we'll look forward to hearing some of those stories from you soon.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Awesome.
And just one little story that I had.
Yeah.
I put a post and I got a call right from that day.
Nice. What was that post consisting of?
Yeah, it was the post saying you're paying a mortgage, but just not yours.
Mm,
And I was not expecting that a friend of my mom's was gonna call me that day.
that's amazing. Good for
Yeah,
you. You just never
it-
know.
yeah, you never know who's watching and who's
Mm,
really looking into the idea or even entertaining the idea of purchasing.
yeah.
Now I'm getting her pre-qualified.
That's great. Good for you. That's very, very exciting.
Yeah.
When I'll share something with you guys. Last week, I made an offer on a property on a sheriff's sale, and there was a lot of opportunity in this one property I saw in Cape Coral, and ended up getting that property for 280. I think 280,000. It's a property that needs very, very little work. I think about $25,000, and my goal is to get up on the market for 399 like ASAP, because ultimately what I'd like to do is start looking at some bigger commercial properties for long-term rental. So I'm looking to, do a couple of fix and flips this year to ultimately maybe get like what I really been looking into. And you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever taken the time to look into this yourselves or have a client who's looked for this, but storage facilities, like you guys know that like those places that public storage and all that, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. Or like when people move, they need extra space, or maybe you downsize, you need extra space. That is one of the areas that I'm looking at right now. So Trina, you in Oklahoma, I would say Belinda, you in Georgia, like these are the states that are very, very friendly when it comes to like people moving in, and there's a lot of demand in these states. So anyone who comes across anything like that, or you see maybe a for sale or for sale by owner or anything in front of a storage complex, I'd love for you guys to help me look for something like that, this year, because my goal for 2023 is to just diversify into the commercial space when it comes to short-term rental. I'm sorry, not short-term, storage facilities, because it is it's a industry, or should I say it's a segment of real estate that has been recession proof in the past. So when you have good times, people buy more stuff and they need to store it. When there's bad times and people have to foreclose on their home, they need storage. So whether it's a good market or bad market, I feel like the storage industry is probably something that could really do well. So if you guys come across anything like that, I just want to put it out there, because like anything
It's
else,
brilliant.
you put it out to the universe, it's easier for it to come true. Like, let me give you a stupid example, but it's so true. But I've always seen it in my life. My dad has been bugging me for sugarcane. So here in Florida, sugarcane grows very easily. So my dad, he used to have sugarcane in Guatemala, and he's like, oh, we got to get some red sugarcane because it's the best
They're
kind.
so good.
It's so good, right?
They're so good.
Oh my God. So if you guys have never tried sugarcane before, like the raw sugarcane, it's actually good for you because it has fiber. It's not like eating sugar, processed sugar, which is complete poison.
It's
But
just fun eating them.
it's fun. Yeah, you're like a horse. You're chewing on it, you're spitting
Yes.
it out. So my dad's been bugging
Spitting
me
it
for the
out.
last month, like sugarcane, sugarcane, sugar. I'm like, yeah, I got to get around to ordering it. I got to get around to ordering it. So yesterday we go out into like the estate section of Naples, where it's like more farmland. And I went to go pick up a scooter for my daughter that I found on Facebook Marketplace. And lo and behold, you'll never believe it, the guy who we bought the scooter from had red sugarcane. And he was like, oh, you guys want some? We got some here. And it was because my dad was out there with the intention of looking for sugarcane. I said, Dad, let's go. Maybe we'll find sugarcane on the way. And my dad said, oh, you got a lot of nice plants. He's like, yeah, you guys got to see. I just got this great sugarcane from my friend in Homestead. I'm like, you got sugarcane? He's like, yeah, you guys want some? I'm like, oh my God. So this is crazy how these things happen, right? But if you say it and you consistently let people know, it somehow comes around. It comes true. I tell people this all the time. Like, don't be quiet about what you want. If you've got a goal, if you've got, things you're looking for, if there's a hole in your industry that you need an employee for, ask, and people will appear, or opportunities will appear. So that's one lesson I think I could leave you guys with this for today, is that the more you ask for something, the more you put it out there,
Louis, I have a quick
the more it'll
question
happen.
before we, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
go for it.
I know probably
I'm done.
time is almost over. I
No,
have
I'm done.
a question that to me is important. I know somebody that works in finance, and he keeps telling me, and I've heard a lot of people that I've called as well, that, the market, that the houses are going to lose value.
Yeah.
There's going to be a recession. What can I say to that, to, because some says like, oh, the market's going to go down, the house is going to get cheaper. I
Mhm.
mean, they want to hold on to the property. What can I say to, because this is one of the little things that kind of block me, because I have a friend that works in finance that tells me that there is going to be a recession, and that a lot of people are going to lose their homes.
Mhm.
Their houses are going to lose their value. And this is like directly from somebody that knows about finance.
Yeah.
What can I say on my calls when people say things like that, especially for first-time home buyers?
Yeah. So with certainty, we don't know anything, right? And anyone who claims to be certain of the future is misguiding themselves, because if he knew for certain, he works in finance and he's like, I know without a shadow of a doubt, I just came back off of my time machine and I saw it, then he should go all in on shorting the market. Like, he should do that, because then if he knows that, then put your money where your mouth is. But the thing is that even though recessions usually bring certain things along with it, like high unemployment or more foreclosure or those types of things, but the problem is that no two recessions are ever exactly the same. So in this market right now that we're already in the recession, right? But we haven't felt the brunt of it. We haven't really felt all we've felt so far is our 401ks and the stock market go down in value. Usually the next chip to fall after that is the unemployment. And then the next chip to fall after that is foreclosures rising. But there's still a very strong demand for housing, which we didn't have in 2008 and 2009. The demand for housing wasn't as strong. So if anyone can say with certainty that anything is going to happen, I don't think it's I don't think it's a safe thing to say or do, because the last time I tried to make a prediction about the housing market back in 2008, when I told people they're not making any more land, they're not making any more land, and that's why real estate always has to go up. Man, I said after that day, I said I'll never make a prediction on the real estate prices again. Now, do I think that there's principles that affect home prices, such as the higher interest rates go, the lower home prices will go? Yeah, that's true. So if we do continue to get more upside on interest rates, it's an inevitable thing. Prices have to come down, level out in a strong way. But the demand is what we got to look at, because the only way to shake that demand is to make homes either so unaffordable that people are just like, I'm just going to wait. I'm just not going to buy right now. But when people don't buy, what happens? Sellers are like, holy crap, no one's buying my house. I got to drop the price even more. So, sooner or later, we will see what's going to happen in this market. But I would say, if anyone asks you, Yannette, what does the market bring? You got to say something along the lines of, it's anyone's guess. No one could be certain for sure. But looking at straight principles, if the higher interest rates go, the lower home prices have to come. It's just a numbers game. So if anyone can predict where interest rates are going to go, that's where we can predict that home prices are going to go as well. The opposite of interest rates is where homes are going to do. So, does that answer your question? I mean, because really nobody really can say with certainty when or where or if it's going to happen.
Yeah, it does answer my questions. From what you told me, it's something that I can come up with a good conversation out of that. Definitely. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, keep it. Go ahead, Alejandro.
Yeah, I just like to add something. I listen to a lot of podcasts and economies and all this stuff on real estate. Builders, every single builder stopped doing new construction. So whatever construction you see going on right now, because they've been going, they're just trying to get it to the finish line right now. So there's no new houses, no new inventory. So that's why the houses. I don't think the house price is going to go down, because the people still need a place to live. And what is the houses if no new construction is coming in?
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, that's very true. The thing with new construction and home builders is that their turnaround time is a year from the time that they put in permits to the time that they're done with a new facility or a new project. So if they're just trying to finish up what they have right now, that inventory is going to dry up within the next 6 to 12 months, right? So like Alejandro said, what then? You still got all this demand and you don't have enough inventory. So could this recession not be as bad as the housing crash of 2008 or 9? Could possibly be, or we don't know. Anything can happen. There could be World War III, and then people are not buying anything. So we don't know what's going to happen. We just got to be prepared for it. We got to be prepared for any possibility of what the market throws at us. We got to have a solution. So yeah, just keep your eyes open for trends, and everything else will fall in place, guys, for sure.
And can I add something with that?
Go for it, please.
You really have to pay attention to your area, because Alejandro said new construction is drying up. Not in my area. We got warehouses still coming up like crazy.
Yeah.
And we have a ton of new housings. We got new houses. We got new 55 and over communities. And I thought that it would have stopped a month ago, but I'm still seeing the post saying coming soon, coming soon, coming soon.
Yeah.
And all the groundwork is being laid out. So in my state, in my area, it's still nonstop.
Sure. Yeah. Nothing ever goes to zero.
Yeah. My resales now, where it used to be 10 days on the market, my resales are now sitting there for over 67 days. But new construction is still pretty strong, very strong. And for Lewis, with you and this Storage Extra, I have just watched 2 motels in the area. U-Haul take those over and turn those into storage units. So I will definitely look out for that if I notice that there's old motels or hotels that have been boarded up for quite some time.
Yeah.
That's the next piece of property that's being gone after to turn into these climate control storage units.
Yeah, a lot of people are taking old Kmart's, or like you said, like old warehouses that people haven't used in decades, and turning them into self-storage, because one of the biggest points that I've seen made on storage facilities is that the United States has an addiction to stuff. You know, nothing. And now with the advent of Amazon, it's just one click away, you getting more stuff. And people are so like nowadays, they're like efficient hoarders, right? So you get so much stuff, they're like, all right, I need to do something with this, but not live like a hoarder. Let me get a storage facility, and then I'll just pack all my stuff in there. And they do that. And the thing is that when you have a storage facility, you don't even realize you have one because it's on auto draft on your credit card, and you forget you even have it. It's like a gym membership. You just get charged every month. And the last thing you want to do on a weekend is like, oh, that's right, I got a storage facility. I want to go. Do I have to really go clear that place out? It's only $30 a month. It's only $60 a month. I'll just leave it. No matter. And then before you know it, you're there for 3 years. That's the average that someone keeps a storage facility for, is 3 years. How crazy is that?
That's
Right?
what I call
It's
an
not
economic
crazy.
leak.
What's that?
That's what I called an economic leak.
It is. It really
Yeah,
truly is.
my mother's been gone for 2 years, and I've been promising my sister that I would clean out the storage unit. My mother died in Florida. She has a storage unit here in Georgia, right around the corner. And I
Mhm.
keep trying to find that extra minute to go over in there and start
Yeah.
cleaning out. It's the size of a one-car garage. Is where
Yep.
my husband parks his truck, because they have truck parking there also.
Just prove
And
my
every
point.
year the truck parking goes up $10.
Mhm.
So now I'm at $130 a month, just so that he could park his truck behind a gated lot.
Yep. Exactly.
So
Crazy,
yes,
right, guys? Crazy. Yeah. And you don't deal with tenants, toilets, or trash. That's the beauty of something like that. So yeah, I'm
none.
go ahead.
You just gotta make sure that you have good pest control,
Yeah.
because that's the other thing I don't like. If it's not in a controlled area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, great meeting today, guys. Thank you all for, sharing what you guys are working on. But before we go, I just want to give the opportunity. I don't want to obviously let it slip through the cracks. I want to let Joelle also jump in real quick and just let her tell us what she's working on, what she's excited about, what plans she has. So,
Where
Joelle,
is
if you
she?
don't mind. I know she's on
I
here.
don't see her.
She's
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I'll be quick. I'm sorry. Just more investing. As I told you guys last time, it's the podcast I want to start working on. I want to pass my real estate test by February, the latest, in Florida, because I already have my license in Jersey. And then investing more. Got a property, so we're gonna go there today, work on it, and just pretty much work on our portfolio. Keep it going like how I was in Jersey, trying to make it here in Florida. So.
Can I answer Sarah's question before we go? It was a little too long for me to type.
Yeah, of course. Go for it.
Okay. She asked about where I get my shirts and things printed. I have a kiosk in the mall that all I do is pay them the $25 one time for doing the setup, and they do all of my embroidery or screen printing. I could bring them my own shirts, my own hats, it doesn't matter. Or I could purchase new from them, or I'm gonna tell you the truth, go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby and you get your t-shirts if you want t-shirts and hats, and you go over and take it to them. But if you have a local shop that does embroidery, they'll charge you about $25 just to do the setup, and you can bring them the stuff, and it's about $10 per print.
Got it. Thank you.
So,
Oh, that's awesome. If you need a low number of units.
yeah.
That's cool. One last thing, I want to give Joelle a question real quick. Joelle's been helping me set up my Airbnb in here in Naples, which is a very hot area for Airbnb still. You gotta be very careful because Airbnbs right now are kind of like on the fence. But she has not worked on an Airbnb for probably, I want to say, it's probably been about 4 or 5 years since she's worked on her last Airbnb. We did an Airbnb in Elizabeth by the airport, and that one did very well until we got we learned the hard way that HOAs are not always friendly to Airbnbs. So if you won't mind, Joelle, sharing with the crew here what you did in order to kind of give yourself a checklist or a cheat sheet on what you should have ready in an Airbnb?
So I'm not sure if this app is outdated, but I've always been into Pinterest, and Pinterest kind of guides you on how to start something. And I know when it comes to Airbnbs, I follow a lot of people on Instagram and TikTok because you can never have enough knowledge. So everyone keeps saying pictures and how it looks and the vibe that the house has kind of attracts someone to the property. So I've noticed that every time I pick out an Airbnb, I want it to look as cute as possible, as modern, chic as possible. And I'm like, you know what? Let me try to do that for myself. So Lewis actually was like, oh, design this. And every time his parents go, they're like, oh, this is nice. This is nice. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you. I'm trying to be a quote unquote designer also, but it's more about how that property looks. And then you also have to, it's like you're a host. You have to know exactly how to be a great host and what your guests would want to make them come again. So, and I like hosting parties. I'm a big party person, even though I barely host parties, but I like hosting a lot. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah, I was really impressed by the way that she thought of all the things that I would have never thought of, as far as like, imagine if you go to an Airbnb and you're thinking to yourself, okay, I'm gonna make some eggs. Oh, we got no oil. You know, she got the cooking spray, the foil sheets, like salt and pepper, like all these things that like, oh man, that's right. That would be pretty handy if you're an Airbnb. So yeah, just in case any of you guys ever get asked to help with an Airbnb, or maybe if you want to give someone a checklist once you do sell them a property that's going to be intended for an Airbnb, I thought that'd be pretty informative for someone to have in case they go and do that. I
Yeah.
remember after
Sorry.
Joelle did the last one in Elizabeth, she did a talk on Airbnbs because everybody, it was like the hot thing at that time. But it's been a while, so I wanted her to kind of refresh the information out there. Go ahead, Joelle, you were saying?
Yeah, but don't be shy on Pinterest. I like to make boards. I like to keep myself organized and just like make boards of like Airbnb or outfits or makeup or anything like that. Just make a board on Pinterest. And I promise you, people post on it and it's up to date. And I really like it. And I think it helps you start off. So Pinterest, don't sleep on that. That's a really good app.
Are you allowed to use Pinterest if you're a man?
I think people use it for like how to like skincare. I have a lot of skincare stuff on that too, and how to make certain kinds of foods that I don't know how to make.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Joelle. Okay. Thank you, everyone, as well, for being here and sharing all the good stuff that you guys are working on. I learned so much from you guys, but I promise that next week we'll dive deep into a topic. But I get so much out of hearing what you guys are all up to, and hopefully you guys are too. And I love hearing your voices too. I don't like to just speak to you guys. I like to speak with you. And yeah, I feel at least maybe that's a little selfish of me, but yeah, call me crazy. I like to hear you guys.
Thank you, Louis. I
This
really
has
love
been
our
good.
Monday Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so nice
it's
to
been
start the
good.
week with this Zoom.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, it's awesome. And one thing that I want to share that Trina said, which is very powerful, I'm going to leave you guys with this, is that yes, what you put out into the universe is very powerful, and you do, as crazy as it may seem, you somehow find that. You find it. You know, maybe it's part of our reticular activator system that makes you be more aware of red cars when you're shopping for a red car, or it makes you more aware of things when it's top of mind, or maybe it is God saying, you know, ask and you shall receive. But what I will tell you is, like she said, it's also the same in reverse. So if you tell yourself, man, I'm so dumb, man, you know what? I never get a break. Why is this always happen to me? You know, when you say things like that, you attract more of that.
Yeah.
So the same thing goes in reverse. So don't be a victim to that. What you speak is very powerful, and it does manifest itself.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed. Yep.
Beautiful. All right. So thank you all for being here. Let's go ahead and close out with a prayer. Father God, we thank you so much for having us here today, Father. Thank you for giving us this time to learn from each other and from the experiences that we've had this week, Father, both positive and negative. Father, I know you would never give us a cross that we can't bear, and we thank you for just being with us throughout our life and throughout these few days. Father, we also ask you to forgive us for our sins and walk us through the next few days of our life and the next week until we meet again here in good health, Father, and also, Father, in good spirits. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you, everyone. Have an amazing
Thank you,
day.
Louis. Thank you,
Awesome.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.